Hey everyone. So, it's been quite a while since I've done a Vim video. Specifically, I did my Vim tutor video 2 weeks ago, I think. I'm not sure, but roughly about 2 weeks ago. And since that's done, I kind of wanted to talk about some Vim tips. So today's Vim tip, Vim hack, whatever, life hacks, whatever you want to call it, is going to be on folds and mode lines. Now, what are folds and what are mode lines? Well, folds are pretty much like what they sound. They're little folds that allow you to fold text. So you can fold regions of text within Vim and expand them, collapse them. Generally, it makes navigating large, long source files a lot easier, or say you have a big LaTeX document and you have certain things that say certain things you'd like to fold them away when you're not editing them, you can do that as well. And then mode lines are little bits of text that allow you to specify certain Vim commands to execute when you open a buffer. So first, I am going to cover folds. Now, I have this little test Lua file here that should be a pretty good candidate for testing all of our different fold methods. So, of course, Vim has multiple ways to fold text. The first method, and the default method to my knowledge, is the manual fold. So, when you want to create a fold, you do ZF plus motion. Actually, I should probably open screen key. So, ZF plus a motion. So, for instance, I could do ZF and then J. And as you can see, we have a little fold right up here. So, if you want to expand the text in a fold, type ZA in normal mode, and that allows you to toggle a fold, expand, or collapse it. So that is how you create a fold. Now, a big note of information: these folds are not persistent across sessions of Vim. So once you exit this buffer, write the file, quit Vim. Actually, not write the file, but once you exit Vim or delete, close the buffer, delete the buffer, these folds will not be back here again. So that's a bit of a note. But if you want to delete a fold, you can do ZD, and that deletes the fold. Now, of course, like I said, you can do any type of motion with ZF. So if we want to fold, I don't know, say the next 10 lines, we can do ZF 10J. And suddenly, all of those lines are folded. So from this line number 10 all the way up to the 10th line right here, they are all defining a fold. So that's how you can create, folds with, the movement keys. But you can also define folds with any other motion that moves the cursor. So for instance, I'm gonna set a mark A right here. So say, I don't know, right up here, we can do ZF, quote A, and we can fold up to that mark. And so that you can create marks, multiple marks, I don't know, like say mark Z, right? And I could fold, I don't know, right up here to mark Z, and suddenly now we have a full fold here. So, like I said, you can delete folds with ZD. Now, to my knowledge, you can't use Control D, ZF plus Control D to define folds, or ZF plus Control U to define folds. There's not really all that much control over it, but for instance, you could also do ZFG to fold all the lines from where you are to the bottom. So as you can see, that's the end of the file. Or I could do ZFGG to fold from that point up to the top. So you can also do that as well. All right, so you can also nest folds. Before I go into nesting folds, you can also define folds within visual mode. So for instance, I have this whole block set selected here, so I can type ZF and it instantly folds them. Or say I want to fold a paragraph, I can do ZF and the brackets, and it folds all of that text via jumping paragraphs. So that's how you can fold lines. Again, ZA allows you to toggle a fold. ZD allows you to delete a fold. But let's say I have a fold that, I don't know, is like 30 lines big. It's a big fold, and let's say I have a few other folds in it. I don't know, ZF5J, and actually, I'm gonna delete this fold and make kind of like a nice bigger fold. And then I say have nested folds, so you can also nest individual folds. So for instance, I can close this one, right? There's two folds in here, there's two folds in here, you can expand them. But it's often very annoying to open multiple folds at a time. Sometimes you just want to have open one fold and open up all the subfolds. So you can do Z_A to expand all of the folds nested underneath a fold. So Z_A allows you to recursively expand folds, whereas ZA just allows you to do normal expanding. And then also, as a bit of a note, if folds are already expanded underneath and you fold the parent fold, they will still be unfolded underneath, so keep that in mind. But say I want to delete all of the folds in here. You can do Z_D. I don't know, that accidentally nuked my file. But as you see, I removed the fold anyway. So say, you know, I have a fold here, I open this, and I have another fold in here, and then another fold. So come on then. So if I have multiple folds nested, you can do Z_D, and it deletes all of those folds recursively. I keep messing it up, but you get the point. You can recursively delete folds with Z_D. So our next fold method is the indent fold method. So this controls folds automatically via indent level. So if you want to set that, you can do set fold method, or FDM, equals indent. And now, as you can already see, some things have changed automatically. So if you don't down here, they're all folded because they're one indent level. And actually here, you can see we have a fold and then a nested fold. So you can do that. And you can also, yet again, manually define folds. Actually, no, you can't. I'm not thinking through this straight. You cannot define manual folds within this indent fold method. So it has uses, but generally I don't really use this one all that much. Indent's such a small fold method that it really doesn't have a whole lot of use, maybe outside of, you know, you're writing a document like LaTeX or writing some markdown document, you just want to fold based on indent, you can do that. But really, I think the most powerful fold method out of the ones I'm talking, there are two others I'll briefly touch on at the end, but this fold method is called marker. Now, marker is a bit different because what it does is it takes three characters, right? By default, these are curly braces. Now, so wherever they are in the file, they define a fold. So for instance, I have 3 up here, 3 down here, and they define a fold. Now, obviously, you'll probably want to put them within a comment, so you know your code or whatever you're working on doesn't freak out all the time, but you can define folds like this. Now, also in this very first line, you can write in some, like, I don't know, epic code here, right? And when you fold that, it will show that text, any text after that defined fold. So that's another useful thing, you know, labeling. Oh, this is, I don't know, certain wrapper functions for graphics or certain class or like whatever the fold is hiding. You can also define manual folds in this mode too, so I can do that. As you can see, they appended those little comment markers with the folds, so you can do that too. And I think that's automatically handled by Vim, which is nice. Makes it super easy. And that's honestly the really big hitting one. So if you want to define these into, say, your vimrc or something, I'll create like an example.vimrc here. So if you want to enable folds, you can set FDM is equal to marker. Now you can also change the fold markers too. So you can do set fold marker. I think set fold marker. Yeah, fold marker. And you can press equals, and then you can define any sequence of characters you want for a fold. So let's say I want to start a fold with like 3 upticks, and I don't know, 3 backslashes, right? So we can set that to our fold marker. So if we, I don't know, make a comment, start with, that's not a Vim comment. We start with 3 chevrons, up arrows, whatever you want to call them, and then end it with those 3 slashes. We can fold that with ease. So if you want to set this in your vimrc, do set FDM equal to marker, and fold markers to equal, if you want custom ones, like, I don't know, say you want parentheses. So you can set custom fold markers like that. Now, on to Modelines. Now, Modelines are super useful as well along with folds, and I'm gonna show you how you can write your own Modelines. So for instance, let's say we have like an empty file here. So when defining Modelines, you'll want to start, first of all, you'll probably want it within a comment if it's, you know, some kind of code file. So I don't know, we'll set the FT here to like Lua, for instance. It's not being nice. Oh no, sorry, it's FT equals Lua. There we go. Uh-oh. So you'll probably want to throw it within the comment, but you always want a white space character before you start, and then you type in vim:. Now this is very specific syntax, so you'll need vim: space, and then you can type in any kind of command. So if I want to set, I don't know, the file type to Lua, for instance, we could add some code here like local my var is equal to false, function bruh, or something like bruh, and then we can do print bruh, and then end the file. I don't know, like something like that. So then we can also here to set it as a comment, and it will generally sometimes automatically read from the file. Sometimes it won't, but you can also set other options more than just one. So multiple commands in the mode line are either separated by a space or a colon. It's whatever you want when you're writing mode lines. I generally like, using colons because it makes a bit more sense. But I can say, I don't know, a tab stop to something ridiculous like 10. I can also set the shift width to something ridiculous, again, like 10, and then expand the tab if I really want to be masochistic. So you can define anything. Let's call this help.lua, just to rub it in. So you can set pretty much anything. I think it might. Oh no, it doesn't work. If we do vi help.lua, as you can see, now we have that really annoying tab stop of 10 spaces or whatever the heck. So you can define anything within this mode line. Now, do be careful because Vim will continue to parse afterwards. So if I, add in 2 extra things, as you can see, it throws out an error detected while processing mode lines, unknown option --. So if you have something like, say, an HTML file where you have your comments or like angle bracket exclamation mark dash dash, and then you have that, dash dash angle bracket at the end. You'll want to make sure that that is on a separate line, or else Vim will freak out and start throwing errors at you. So what are some of the uses of Modelines? Well, I have a few files here. So for instance, I have a little Lua file here called theme loader, just generalist library for my awesome config. But as you can see in the bottom here, I have that fold method set to marker. So anyone who gets this file will automatically have their fold method set to marker and their marker set to parentheses. So if I expand it, you can see they're all separated with parentheses. Pretty standard stuff. Sometimes you'll see this in various things. I know for starters that the kitty configuration does have use of a mode line, so that's some use for it. But also, I have this script here, right? This ZSH script. And notice it doesn't have a file extension, but if we go to the bottom, as you can see, I have the file type set to ZSH, so all of the syntax highlighting works as it should, but it doesn't have, a file extension, so you can do, period / run it if it's executable and whatnot. And then I have another sample here. Yet again, at the bottom, because Markdown has HTML-like comments, you'll need to put that end of that multi-line comment on a separate line, or else, yet again, Vim will throw an error at you. And so indent levels are automatically changed, and they are set to tab stop 2, shift whip 2, and they're both individual spaces. And as you can see, we also have nested folds here. So that's kind of really the super useful part about Modelines. It's kind of almost like an editor config, but Vim specific, where any file you get, you can set particular options, and then whenever another user opens that file, they can edit it with all of those settings, all of those fold methods, or whatever commands you have set. So that is a really useful feature of the mode line in Vim. It allows you to set various options at a file level, so you don't have to worry about, saying, oh, you'll need to format things like this, because it'll automatically do it for you. Anyway, that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.